make sure you share this video if you fuck with it, if you find it helpful. Share it. Follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. I don't have a Snapchat. I just made an Instagram. I don't really deal with social media, so you really won't see me on there a lot. But follow me so you can just stay updated. You can email me if you have any questions. Well, not really questions, but things you want to talk about. If you want to just vent, you can email me. I'll try and get back to the people that I get. You can get back to the people that I can. You can DM me. I'll have all the information below, and also if just comment something you want me to talk about, like anything you want me to talk about. I feel like I was blessed with a wide perspective. I won't say I know everything, but I have a wide perspective. I can give my perspective. Enjoy the video. You feel me? But I want to really touch on the fact that I had recently posted a video, and I want to touch on 6 things I feel like can help people as far as as far as quitting their job and things of that nature, because a lot of people DM me, a lot of people ask me, oh, how do you do it? So I created like 6 things I feel that can help you as far as just getting on that path. And the first thing I want to touch on is really having a plan, because like you can't really do anything without one. And I just feel that a lot of people just are going through the motion and don't really know what they're doing, and they're wondering why they can't get nowhere. As you can see, I don't know you probably can't see the full thing, but I have a whiteboard here. I plan my weekly schedule, my monthly schedule. I have a calendar that I write things out. I plan a week in advance, a month in advance. I plan 3 to 6 months in advance sometimes, depending on if I'm going on tour, because I do travel a lot. I shoot film, so I'll either go on the West Coast, Midwest. I'll go out of the country. Sometimes so on and so forth. I don't really want to get into that in this video, but I'll plan 3 to 6 months in advance, just making sure that my planning is to the T. And when I say planning, I really more so mean that you just have a general idea of what it is you're trying to accomplish. Because like I said, a lot of people are just going with emotions, and they don't really understand like the direction they want to go in, the direction they want to take. So I feel like as long as you know, for example, I'm gonna give you an example, because I don't want to just speak in I'm a very general speaker, so I don't want to speak too general, because I know people want specifics. But I just know people, for example, like I said, if you want to, let's say, save for a $1,000 camera, whatever the case may be, you feel me? You gotta know that, okay, I have to, on the course of, let's say it's a 6-month plan, okay, on the course of 6 months, you divide whatever that is by whatever the camera cost will be 1,000 by 6, and I have to have X, Y, and Z amount of dollars every month. So that's just a basic plan, a short-term plan, a mid-term plan, just things of that nature. And that just goes as far as like budget. So just things of that nature. Just knowing your goal, knowing your end result, how you want to get to it, what it is that you need to do. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna pretty much explain like a formula that I use that really helped me when it came to film. The second thing I want to touch on is sacrifice. And yes, I am using my phone to help me with my notes. As I get more into YouTube, I'll be able to do things off the top of my head as far as remembering the topic that I want to talk about. The next thing I want to do is sacrifice. You got to understand that I had in the video, and I guess I'll put a link to it. I'll put everything, my Twitter, my everything in the bio. But I put a video out, and I was basically explaining to people that sacrifice is a main importance in getting to where you want to get, because you have to understand that if you want to, you got a choice. Everything is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Success is a choice. Getting up is a choice. Going to work is a choice. Everything is a choice. So if you want to, I'm not going to say make it, because I haven't made it. I'm on the path of that. But if you want to get to a certain level, like a higher level, you have to understand that, bruh, you can't, if you have goals to accomplish in a budget, you can't go out this weekend. You can't buy no Jordans this weekend. I'm just using things that are very like, little subtle things, things that are very minor, just to, you know, appeal to a mass. But you can't buy no Jordans. No, I'm gonna just say sneakers. You can't buy no shoes this weekend. You can't buy no sneakers this weekend. You can't buy, if you're a female, you can't buy that makeup kit. You can't buy no clothes this weekend. You can't eat out every day, and obviously that's for both genders. You can't eat out this weekend. You can't my phone is you can't eat out this weekend. You can't just whatever it is. You can't party. Like, you have to understand that, okay, if some I'm gonna use sneakers. If some sneakers is coming out this weekend for $150, and that's your budget for the week, or for, because sometimes I do weekly budgets too. Like, okay, I need to make this amount of money this week, and that you hit your weekly budget. Like, you can't necessarily buy them shoes because, bruh, it has to go towards your ending result, your goal, your camera in this sense. And you might have to look bummy, or you might have to repeat some outfits, so you might have to, that's something you have to take to the chin. Now, what I always like to tell people is that when you get to where you want to get, when you are $100,000 person, $1 million target, which is obtainable, you have to understand that, you have to want that, you have to see that you can go back and you can buy whatever it is you want to buy, but you got to stay in your tax bracket, and that's all a part of sacrifice. You can't get out of that tax bracket because you're trying to live for others, or you're trying to upkeep an image that you really can't upkeep, because you got to prioritize now. You got to prioritize as far as like understanding, this is not important. This is what is important for me, because when you buy and I'm using the camera again as an example, because I shoot film. When I buy that camera, this is what's gonna be my moneymaker and help me to get out of my job, because this is now my source of income. If you do it, obviously, if you progress and you grow and you do it right. So you have to understand, like I said, and prioritize. Priorities are a big part of sacrifice. You got to understand that. Yes, you have to prioritize. And sometimes I talk in circles, but you just, like I said, you got to understand that there's just certain things you can't do anymore. Like, and I'm not saying you can't do them forever. I'm just saying right now you can't do it because you're trying to level up. So everything that basically you have to dead your old life in order to create a new one. So if your old life entailed with X, Y, and Z, and you were doing this and doing this, you can't do it anymore, because you're creating a new chapter. You're creating, this is the new page to the beginning of your new book. This is the new era for yourself. This is you killing yourself. This is I always talk about being dead and being reborn and dying. I'm not talking about literally. I'm talking about spiritually and mentally. This is you dying and rebirthing. This is you killing your old habits, which is your old self, your ego, your self-centeredness. If you're a liar, you got to stop lying, because that all comes with being able to. And I'll touch on that when I speak on professionalism. I'm gonna talk about consistency next. There's just your old self, your old me. You have to dead that in order to create your new me, in order to continue and progress and do what it is you have to do. Now, as far as consistency, I like to touch on consistency, and I know people say, oh, you have to be consistent, you have to do this, you have to do that, just make sure you keep doing it. That's not the only part of consistency. Now, let me break down what consistency is for you. Consistency is knowing that, yes, you have to make sure that you're consistently putting something out, whether it's on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, quarterly basis, a daily basis, every 5 days, whatever works for you, however you can formulate your engine, your personal engine to work for you. You know what I mean? That's consistency. But consistency also is that, for example, if communication can be consistency. You communicate effectively. I don't know. There's just so many things with consistency. I can only really speak from a personal standpoint, which I'm trying not to. But consistency can be consistency just consistency can also be let's say, for example, that I just really want you all to understand that it's just not only putting out product. Consistency is also being consistent in your words, making sure your word is bond, being consistent in the fact that you do uphold the qualities. No one man is an island. You can't do anything by yourself. So people just have to understand that, you know, there's no problem, especially if you're trying to quit your job. There's no problem in asking for help. If sometimes I used to have personally have that problem myself, that I didn't really want to reach out to nobody. I wanted to do everything on my own, and it just don't work that way. You need a team. You need somebody in your corner. You need support. You need people that you can rely on as far as, but you have to also be your own help. So you can't just screw somebody over. You can't fuck somebody over because they helping you. And you know, let's say for example, you got half the money and somebody put something on their car for you. You can't just not pay it off and feel like that's finessing or that's a come up, or you just came up on somebody. If somebody was willing to do something for you, you gotta follow through. You have to be open to people helping you. You can't do anything by yourself. You just stay where you at. If you think that you're just not gonna have any helping, people are just gonna, you know, you're just gonna do everything by yourself. Second thing the last thing, well, before it's fifth to last thing, I wanna touch on is and again I got my phone. Is separating business from pleasure. People have to understand that. If I'm gonna use photography and film, I shoot like a lot of beautiful women, but people have to understand that if you have a friend or if you're going into business with somebody, pleasure, personal, all of that is dead unless it grows organically, and you know you can transcend your business relationship through to a personal one or a pleasurable one. Cool, but you can no longer look at that person as that. If you go into it, and this is vice versa for men going to women or women going to men. If you can't fuck somebody that you're trying to do photo shoots with, or you're trying to make money with, you're trying to make 10 grand with, or whatever the case may be, because it's just gonna mess up the energy. And in the back of my mind, they might see you with somebody else and formulate something in their head, in their own head, and come up with all kind of scenarios. And like I said, this is vice versa. And you know, it's just feelings that shouldn't be there. Now, when things are left unsaid, and you know, you might like somebody that you shoot, or you might like somebody that you work with, but you know, you keep it at that, just internally. So it's not something that, it doesn't have to be something that you vocalize, because it will mess up your business relationship. It will, like, you can't mix the two. And you know, it's a lot of I see it like just people be trolling and everything. I see a lot of like photographers be like trying to come on to the women they shoot, because I know photographers are blessed to be able to shoot like very beautiful women, but y'all gotta leave it at that, because it's just like, yo, like, you gotta think about how much women probably get come on to, or anything of that nature, or people come on to them, or you know, it's all about making your clients, because at the end of the day, once you do take up to shoot somebody, they become your client. And I'm just using photography because I'm a filmer. I'm using photography as an example. That is your client now. You're not supposed to be coming on to your client now. If your client come on to you, that's different. Cool, so on and so forth. That's up to you to handle that situation. Still don't recommend it or whatever. But yeah, you know, you have to have a certain professionalism as far as how you treat people, and as far as how you treat your clients. Now it works vice versa. Like if you have a friend and they going into and you want to go into business with them, I don't recommend it. It just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work. Like you have to understand that your friend might look at you as like, man, this is I'm gonna use myself. This is just kilo. This is just kilo. Like and you might need things done at a certain place, certain time, a certain way, and certain everything. And they just might not look at it like that. They might look at you. They might look at it like you're acting a certain way. When no, you just need your shit. You just need your craft done on point. You just need your situation on point, and it's held to a certain standard. And they might not understand that, because maybe they work in a job, so they don't understand what it is to be an entrepreneur. They don't understand what it is to be independent and things of that nature. Next thing I wanna is just treating people with respect. Like I've been in situations where I had the opportunity to disrespect people. I have opportunity to disrespect people every day, but you just gotta understand that no matter what, like you have to keep your face gold. Like you gotta keep your face, like nobody can. I mean, people will make up lies, of course. People will make up anything, but you have to be able to ultimately be able to keep your brand. because your face is your brand at that point. You have to be able to keep it at a high standard that people can't. If somebody do say something, the other party will know that it's false. They making it up because you just don't treat people a certain way. You don't disrespect people. Like if somebody want to curse you out, somebody want to do this, talk crazy, let them talk crazy. Like that's ultimately that's not your choice. You can't control that person. That's just how they feel. Some people, like I said, they have a problem mixing business with pleasure, emotions with business, and you can't do that because it's never personal. It's never personal. So if somebody want to disrespect you, don't disrespect them because it just doesn't work that way. And you have to understand that as far as if you want to leave your job and you're serious about leaving your job, that your customer service, you're your own manager, you're the supervisor, you're all of these things in one. Like in one, that's why a lot of people, like a lot of artists need managers, and I mean, there's some artists need managers because they're busy, but a lot of artists need managers because they don't know how to talk to people, and that's what a manager is for, to talk to people, because an artist might mix their emotions with it, and that's not, you have to be level-headed. Like somebody disrespects you, okay, you just tell them, okay, cool, like I appreciate you, I respect your opinion, you're entitled to your opinion, and so on and so forth. There's really nothing else you could do. There's really nothing else you could do, and there's really nothing else you could do, and I just feel like that's just something that people have to understand as far as like you just can't let people get you out of your character. Now, if somebody's disrespecting you, I'm not saying you want to stand up for yourself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is no reason to curse at somebody. There's no reason to call somebody out their name. You are a business. You're a brand at this point. Like you're not a normal person anymore. Like anything you do, like think about think about if Amazon or Walmart or Comcast or Sprint or anybody you deal with on a regular phone bill, whatever, anybody you deal with, it was just to curse out all their customers, you wouldn't go back, right? So you can't. It's the same thing. You have to think about yourself as a Fortune 500 company and take those standards, take those models, take those practices, and apply them to yourself, because that's what you. If that's what you strive to be, that's what you have to be. Like there's no getting around it. Obviously, you're gonna slip up because you're retraining your subconscious. You're retraining yourself to become a different type of person. Like I said, you're not like. Excuse me, like I'm always saying, you're dying and you're rebirthing yourself. So you're training yourself. So don't beat yourself up if maybe somebody might come along and it's like the 101 person and you just like, I can't take it anymore. I'm not saying to blow up on them, but you might want to express yourself. Cool. I still say try and talk to a friend, talk to whomever, because you got to be professional. But I like to you're a walking, not a pop-up shop, you're a walking flagship store. So whenever somebody speaks to you, whenever somebody approaches you, talks to you, you're representing everything that you embody, everything that you're presenting, everything that you project. You're embodying that. So you have to take care of that, and you have to represent it well. Last thing I want to say is, and I kind of touched on it, but it's just how it's just basically, it's not what you say, it's how you say things. So like a lot of things can get misconstrued through text. A lot of things can people put their own tone, put their own mood on things. A lot of things can get misconstrued. So you just gotta understand the fact that it's not, like I said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Because I can say okay, and somebody might take it like, okay, what you mean okay? Like, okay, nigga, what? Like, okay. And it's just like, nah, bro, I just said okay, like I understand, or I'm agreeing, or things of that nature, and that's all it is. Some people, I prefer to talk in person, sometimes over the phone and through FaceTime, depending on like if I'm out the state, or if I'm out the country and I need to talk to a client that's maybe in Texas, Cali, Miami, so on and so forth. So it just depends on the situation. But if you have the opportunity to talk in person, like I feel that's what you need to do, and it'll help your business, because like I said, people can take your words out of line, and it's not how you say things, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I don't know, that's how I feel. Okay, so the last thing I want to really touch on is like how I did it. Because a lot of people DM me, a lot of people really ask me like, Kilo, whatever, like how do you really get out of the job? So I can only really like explain like how I did it. as far as like what worked for me, which I really feel like is like a universal law and a universal thing somebody can do. So like people have to understand like the difference between a job and your craft. Your craft is basically okay. Let's say you're making $3,000 in a job, right? And you know, no, I ain't gonna start that. Okay, so basically what I did was I I trained for 4 years. So basically, training is worked on my craft for 4 years. Evidently, I had people that I could pretty much look at, observe. I studied YouTube, shot in nature, shot little things, shot friends, shot so on and so forth for 4 years. And camera work. I never really thought I would be doing film. Excuse me. I never really thought I would be doing film, but it kind of just like fell into my lap. But before I felt like that, before anybody should ever feel like they can take somebody's money or get a client, you have to know your craft. So I studied for 4 years. Then after 4 years, which I mean it might not take that long for depending on whenever you feel like you was ready. After 4 years, I felt like I was ready because film is not really something you should play with. And nothing is anything you should play with. So like I said, 4 years. So then after that, I basically shot for free. Now people will be feeling like they don't have to people feel like they don't have to shoot for free, they don't have to work for free, this and this, and it's like, yo, nobody knows you, bro. I don't care who you are, who you think you are. That's what really, because of the ego. Like, you gotta dead out your ego. Nobody knows you. So you have to shoot for free for an X amount of time until your name is a little bit known around and people are coming to you like in a vast amount. Then you can start charging. Even when I hit that point, I was still only charging like $20, $30. And this is film. I had 2 jobs at the time. I was in school. I dropped out like 5 times, but I was in school. You feel me? I dropped out of school because you have to create time. You have to create time because you have to give whatever. If you really want to do something, you have to dedicate 100% to it. So I quit both jobs, which was detrimental, and I dropped out of school. I was shooting videos for like $20 to $30 at first for like a couple months. I don't know exactly, but for like a couple months. And like, you have to. This is going back to what I was saying in the beginning. Like, you have to understand that if you're coming from like, let's say a $3,000 budget a month, and you're shooting videos, let's say for $20 a week, $20 a shoot, 10 shoots, that's $200 times 4, that's $800. So you went from 3 bands to barely 1,000. This is where like sacrifice and consistency and things of that nature comes back into play, because it's like you gotta be consistent and you have to sacrifice knowing like, yo, you're not gonna be able to live the same way. You might have been at a certain level in your job, but now you're starting from scratch. This is getting it off your face. This is off the strength. This is off the muscle. This is ultimately legit. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to understand that $800 has to constantly go back in yourself, go back in, and you have to build, and you have to network, and you have to shoot. Or I'm just saying shoot because I shoot film. You have to build, and you have to network. You have to do what you got to do, and then as you get better, your price can increase. I'm not saying you go from $20 to $30, $40, whatever the case may be, to $200. It don't work like that. You will lose your clients. Like, you have to understand your market. You have to understand, like, okay, the people that you shoot, are they 100% in their craft too? Or do they work? Like, do they work 2 jobs? Do they go to school? You have to understand that. Now, I'm gonna give you an example. If you know that your clients work 9 to 5 like you just did, they probably have their own issues too. You can't charge somebody. This is where knowing your client comes in. You can't charge a client that works a 9 to 5, busts their ass, works 2 jobs, probably busts their ass, got to take care of. You just gotta, you have to kind of give people the benefit of the doubt. Busting their ass, a $300 photo shoot, they can't afford that. They can't afford that. You might have 1 person out of 10 that can, and this is where strength in numbers come in. You would rather get a consistent 10 clients that can pay you $40 for 10 shoots than 1 person that will probably only come around every 3 weeks, 4 weeks. $300. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you have to grow with your clientele. Now, as you get better, they have no choice but to come back. And this is anything. I suggest y'all watch American Gangsters. I get my concept from Blue Magic. I have no problem sharing that. You have to grow with your clientele. If you wanna, it's all about monopolizing. Because they say monopoly is like illegal, but you have to learn to monopolize your craft. It's about giving the best quality for the lowest cost. Now, I'm not telling you to do it like China, and I'm not telling you to do it like Walmart. Me personally, I want to be the Whole Foods of what I do. I want to be widely known. I want to give the best product at the best price that's reasonable. Whole Foods be unreasonable sometimes, but you pay for what you get as far as client, customer, product, whatever. You pay for what you get. Now, you will have a vast. Sometimes you can charge more depending on the situation, who it is, so on and so forth. There's different factors, but you always have to have a foundation. You can't solely rely on somebody. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Solely rely on somebody to pay you $2,000 for your product one time every month. You can't live off of that. That's not guaranteed. They might find somebody else. Now, what you gonna do with all the rest of the people that you fronted on and you trying to act like you was too good for, or whatever the case may be? Like, these people are feeding you. Always have to remember that. You gotta, like I said before, you have to take care of others to take care of yourself. These people are believing in you. These people are. I apologize. These people are believing in you. These people are coming to you over somebody else. Tell them you appreciate them. Tell them thank you for the opportunity. These are things that you have to see. Genuinely, it's not, don't just say it to say it, but let the person that's paying you know that you appreciate them. That's how somebody comes back. You don't just, take their money and that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to fake a friendship. I'm not saying you have to fake a relationship, but just still let somebody know that, they just paid you $200 for something, $100 for something, $10 for something. No matter the amount, they paid you something. You have to show them that you appreciate that. So going back, that's just all a part of everything of my formula. Going back, now you have, like I said, you have to reinvest that $800, and it's like, you reinvest. Like I said, you slowly grow, you slowly build, you slowly get back to that point where, okay, now boom, now you're making $3,000 a month. You're making $5,000. Let's say $5,000. You're making $5,000 a month. That doesn't mean you go flex. That doesn't mean you go splurge. You gotta keep reinvesting until you're making 10 bands a month. Because when you're making $5,000 a month, you're making 60 bands a year. That's no money. Like, what are you flexing? Like, you're not in another tax bracket. You're making 10 bands a month. That's only 120,000. You can't even buy a home with that. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're trying to live but unless you're trying to rent is what I should say. But like, you have to understand, like, tax brackets. You have to understand where you at. You have to understand levels. It's not a hard concept. So recap. All you have to do is what I did is I studied, started off for free, charged for the low, and I still charge for the low for the quality that I give. Always give more than you receive. That will always keep people at your doorstep. Just give more than what you receive. Always. You will quit your job so fast if, like, I'm gonna give you an example. People be having t-shirt lines. It's like everybody had a t-shirt line. There's nothing at this point, a t-shirt line, and this is just an example. You have to understand, like, cameras, photographers, videographers, none of this is new. Nothing you're doing is new. Like, nothing. The way you go about it might be innovative, but nothing somebody does is new. This is the world knows everybody knows everything in the world. Like, nothing is new. So it's just how you go about things. Like, people have t-shirt lines that they try to charge $40 for a shirt. How can you support that? First of all, you got to think about it like this. Somebody could take their $40 and they can go to Bape, or they can go to Supreme, or they can go to their favorite brand. They can go to Zara, or they could go to I'm just saying, like, just throwing brands out there. Like, they can go. Why would they spend 40 with you if you upcoming? Like, they don't really have to. It's their hard-earned money. Like, you have to understand, when people spend with you, that is a blessing. That's their hard-earned money. So you can't make it difficult for them. Like, I be feeling like t-shirt lines, they should start off at $15, like $10, $15. Like, $20 max. Like you just started. Like how you charging somebody the same price that they could go to H&M or American Apparel or X, Y, and Z. And I know they be gassed the prices, but I'm just giving examples. And they can go spend their money there. Why would they spend it with you? You not know. Nobody cares about you. Nobody knows you. A celebrity not wearing your shit. Like you gotta be realistic about it. That's what it all takes. Just being realistic about where you're at, who you are, what you're doing. You gotta be realistic. Like I said, going back, spending more. I mean, giving more than you getting. Now, that's the hard work, that's the discipline to it. You're gonna get to the point where, you could work smarter and you feel me, when you break through, I haven't even broken through yet. When you break through and it's like, you could charge what you worth now. Like you could, if you're a photographer, you could charge 500 an hour. You a videographer, you could charge 5, 10 bands and 20,000 in royalties and all of that because your clients, you feel me? That's when you are dealing with known people. Your clients are known, and they just whatever they do, they generate income off of that. You gotta know your level, man. Stay blessed.